Next news. Breaking news.
A deadly cruise ship virus cluster, passengers scattering across continents, U.S. states now monitoring exposure, and then the World Health Organization says the quiet part out loud. It's glad the governments are increasing surveillance. Not awareness, not treatment, surveillance. That's why the story just exploded from a health alert into a political flashpoint. See, Americans remember exactly how the last panic cycle worked. First headlines, then experts, then pressure, then the control. And now with President Trump back in office and the America First movement stronger than ever, the same global institutions sound like they're warming up the same old playbook. The question is simple. Are they trying it again? Now here's why this matters to you directly. See, the Andes strain tied to the MV Hondius is the one Hantavirus strain with documented human-to-human transmission. Reports say roughly 40 passengers left the ship before anyone knew what was happening. Cases or monitoring alerts are now tied to Europe, Israel, South Africa, and at least 3 U.S. states. The World Health Organization says exposure may have reached up to 12 countries. So yes, the health side is real and should be watched carefully, but what has people furious is the political pattern that's forming around it. Before the public even has clear answers, online activists are already begging for N95 masks, even outdoors. Conservative voices already warning, no lockdowns, no panic, not again. And then you hear the WHO officials praising surveillance expansion and the head of the WHO preaching global solidarity as though national sovereignty is the problem. President Trump pulled America away from failed globalist independence for a reason. Americans don't want another fear campaign used to justify more monitoring, more mandates, and more power for the same institutions that botched the last crisis. And while the media machine cranks up anxiety, taking care of your body without feeding the panic matters even more. Now, you've probably seen the clip of Joe Rogan with Mel Gibson talking about people close to him who went through serious health struggles and then saw dramatic turnarounds. Rogan brings up light-based therapies and how they affect the body at the cellular level. Gibson says plainly this stuff works, and that got my attention. Now, see, in my own life, I watched something similar with my wife dealing with constant discomfort and anxiety for far too long. And that's why I want you to check out Red Light Therapy from Jonathan Otto at myredlight.com. It's a simple wellness tool that people are using at home to support recovery, circulation, and everyday comfort. Go to myredlight.com. Use NNN25 for 25% off individual items or NNN30 for 30% off bundles. Now back to the part the corporate media keeps glossing over because the virus story is only half of the story. See, the real trigger point is not just the outbreak, it's the timing. Reports show Moderna has been working on an mRNA hantavirus vaccine since 2024. Now, vaccine manufacturers are reportedly rushing again while Moderna stock jumps. Add in the WHO's late April exercise Polaris 2, it was a drill which reportedly included a cruise ship and cross-border tracing scenarios, and now Americans are asking a very fair question. Why does the infrastructure for control always seem ready before the public even understands the threat? That's why trust is collapsing in real time. Now here we have this. We've been tracking this Hantavirus story over the weekend. The World Health Organization said the quiet part out loud, that it's glad governments are now increasing their surveillance.
This is a particular situation where we are monitoring. I think it's great. We're raising awareness about hantaviruses in general. It's great that countries are paying attention to this and hopefully governments and increasing their surveillance efforts and really critically using this One Health approach because it is predominantly in rodents and that's how people get infected.
Yep, so World Health Organization already out in front of this, admitting they want more surveillance. And now, of course, solidarity, according to Tedros over there at the World Health Organization. Solidarity is our best immunity.
Health security needs universality. And any vacuum, any space which is not covered actually gives advantage to the virus. And the best immunity we have is solidarity, because viruses don't care about our politics.
No, but you do.
They don't care about our borders. And they don't care about excuses that we may have. Solidarity is our best immunity, I repeat.
Solidarity, right? He says politics and borders don't matter. when viruses spread, but online the reaction's already turning into a fight over mask compliance and who gets targeted next. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening again. Liberals are now preparing to assassinate anyone who doesn't wear a mask in public. This person wrote, "We ain't doing a sequel to COVID, son. If we catch you without a mask in public, this time you getting kirked." How disgusting is that? The Post shows how fast the panic machine can turn into social pressure. Next, we have Vince Langman takes aim at the COVIDian doctors, he says, are revving up the fear all over again. He says, oh, look, the TDS COVIDian doctors are already trying to spread panic about the Hantavirus. It's not going to work this time around.
The hantavirus affecting the cruise ship appears to be the Andes variety, which goes human to human. This is devastating news because the hantavirus has a lethality rate, a mortality rate of 15 to 40%. 3 people have died currently of the 8 people that are infected. 3 of the individuals on the ship are being evacuated to the Netherlands for treatment. One of them is in very bad shape. This is an RNA type of virus, which means it mutates quickly. Think influenza, think COVID, which means a simple vaccine won't protect you forever from this. You will need boosters if this comes into our society. And if it comes in as deadly as it is, we are looking at a plague far worse than the Spanish flu, far worse than COVID, and far worse than many of the plagues we have seen. This at a time when the United States is withdrawn from the World Health Organization. Good. And right now we are depending upon the World Health Organization to keep our shores safe. It used to be we would be sending the Centers for Disease Control and its scientists there who kept our shores safe from Ebola. But alas, we can't do that because we have devastated the Centers for Disease Control, firing a number of the scientists who would do it. This is not a time to play politics. This is a time when we need the scientific community to come up quickly with information to keep us safe.
Yeah. So it's already starting to spread. Campaign panic is back, complete with worst-case modeling and calls to trust the experts. And right on cue, the mass crowd is already telling Americans to suit up like it's 2020 all over again.
Hey, if you're worried about the hantavirus situation, wear a mask. Wear a respirator, even outside. This is a head strap one. This is an N95. There are also KN95s, which are just the ear loop ones. The tighter it is to your face, the better, which is why the head straps are a little bit more protective. It basically just creates like a seal to prevent air from coming in or escaping. You can also get these really cool little sip valves so you can drink without taking your mask off. Also just reducing risk. It's just like a little, just pop the straw through there. Really easy to cut it. But yeah, I am begging you all, please, for the love of God. I'm seeing so many videos and comments of you being like, I don't have the time. I don't feel like it. Guess what, y'all? Like, did we not learn from 2020 that that's just
we learned.
Wishful thinking and denial is not how we prevent anything. We actually need to like take measures, and sometimes they're not that fun. I mean, I'm used to wearing a mask because I've been wearing one since 2020. Still not my most favorite thing in the world. Obviously, I have a beautiful smile. I would love to show it off. I'm a very expressive person. However, that's much less important to me than my long-term health and the health of other people. So yeah, I am begging you all, please just fucking wear a respirator. If you need to try different kinds, there's a fuck ton of different kinds.
Okay, I got the point. I mean, look at the hair. She's been wearing a mask since 2020. I don't even want to see what's underneath that mask. She has a beautiful smile, sure. So full N95 sermon outside and all now. Here's the pushback. Sean Farash flatly refusing to buy another round of fear porn. I will not be participating in whatever sensational fear porn comes out of this Hantavirus story. Remember what happened the last time everyone panicked? Nope, not again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. But overseas, the story keeps moving with a flight attendant now hospitalized after a contact with a Hantavirus victim. We have this. Flight attendant hospitalized with mild symptoms in the Netherlands had contact with a woman who died of Hantavirus in Johannesburg. Oh boy. So the hospitalization adds another real-world contact to the trail. And now a new question, why was Moderna already working on mRNA Hantavirus vaccines back in 2024? Nothing to see here, of course. They've just been working on one since 24. So while people notice Big Pharma already in the lab, the grassroots message is getting louder. Graham Allen boils it down to 3 words. No lockdowns, period. No lockdowns, no matter what happens. Aliens, hantavirus, nothing. He's drawing a line, no matter what, but the health story keeps spreading. The World Health Organization now saying exposure may have reached as many as 12 countries, according to the World Health Organization. So 12 countries may now be dealing with the exposure. One of them made it official, Israel confirming its first case. Israel has confirmed a human case of hantavirus, right on cue. So that gives the story an international flashpoint, and now an old Bill Gates clip making the rounds again with people asking why the usual global insiders always seem to be one step ahead.
And it won't be the last pandemic. The next one could be far more severe. I mean, this one, it killed millions. It was awful. We got the vaccine. Actually, President Trump's leadership was a factor in getting that out quickly. And so when I spoke to him, I said, okay, here's some other medical innovations, including a thing called an HIV cure that could be accelerated. So, we should be more prepared both for a pandemic. I'd say that's still number one. You can worry about nuclear war. You can worry about AI.
There's
plenty to worry about. But
do you
overall,
sleep
I'm
at
an
all?
optimist.
Okay.
No, I mean,
So Bill Gates' videos making the rounds again. Suspicion online is obvious. MAGA voices are saying the timing isn't random. Viruses always seem to show up when Trump's in office or elections are near. Isn't that strange how viruses only occur when President Trump's in office and during elections? The election year timing argument's catching fire. Meanwhile, Daily Mail zeroes in on the cruise ship itself and the captain's reported mistake as symptoms started showing up on board. Rat virus cruise passenger reveals fatal error made by captain as video shows first sign of deadly disease taking hold. So the focus shift from timing to the actual outbreak chain on the ship. MJ Truth Ultra says nearly 40 exposed passengers may have scattered worldwide. They're trying it again, he writes. Nearly 40 cruise passengers exposed to a deadly virus may have already scattered across the globe as authorities scramble to track them down. Dozens left the MV Hondius ship without contact tracing after a hantavirus outbreak that's already killed at least 3 people. The World Health Organization warns that while human-to-human transfer is uncommon, it's still possible. Health agencies are now racing to locate passengers across multiple continents before more cases emerge. So there's the warning now. Passengers dispersing across the globe. Mario Nafal picks up the same thread, laying out the death count, the countries involved, and why Marjorie Taylor Greene says, calm down crowd, can't be trusted. Multiple countries, and the ship hasn't even docked yet. 3 dead, 8 cases across Europe and South Africa. 147 passengers from 23 countries are slowly dispersing across the globe. The MV Hondius left Argentina on April 1st with the Andes strain of hantavirus already on board, the only strain with documented human-human transmission. The ship is currently at sea, headed for the Canary Islands. ETA May 11th, which is coincidentally the expiration date of Fauci's statute of limitations. MTG is outraged by the calm down police. Stop freaking out about the hantavirus. People are the same ones who pushed lockdowns, masks, and experimental shots last time. And you know what? She's not wrong. And then we have vaccine makers back in the spotlight. Yeah, vaccine manufacturers rush to create a new vaccine. Moderna stock jumps 10% after the hantavirus outbreak. Scientists working to create the vaccine. He writes, they're trying it again. So the fear cycle critics point to what's already familiar, the outbreak, the panic, then pharma profits. And then we have this. This is very strange. This post from Soothsayer is making the rounds. This was actually posted years ago. 2023, coronavirus ended. 2026, hantavirus began. So let's see if I have that. Yeah, so this is this popped up yesterday. This ex-user with only 5 posts predicted the end of coronavirus and the start of hantavirus in 2022. Soothsayer's profile claims he reads the future through astrology. Many ex-users are starting to believe intelligence agencies are leaking scripted events, while conspiracy theorists are claiming time travel could be why there are so many accounts with less than 8 posts predicting the future. Soothsayer. 2023 Corona ended. 2026 Hantavirus began. So you can see. So that's some crazy stuff that's been circulating. So just 2 weeks, this is wild, 2 weeks before the hantavirus news broke, the World Health Organization ran Exercise Polaris 2 on April 22nd and 23rd of 2026. Similarities are shocking. Past Polaris drills, including Polaris 1, included cruise ship or travel-related scenarios very similar to this expedition ship cluster. The simulation used a fictional deadly bacterium with a high mortality rate. The real Andes hantavirus has a naturally high death rate of 20 to 40%. The simulation focused on early detection, contact tracing across borders, and managing passengers and crew, exactly what we're seeing with people who left the ship in St. Helena. There's the headline. Practicing today for tomorrow's emergencies. World Health Organization convenes countries and partners to simulate response after major disease outbreak. And we saw that mirror exactly what happened at COVID. So continuing here, Israel confirming its first hantavirus case, a different European strain from a traveler who visited Eastern Europe. Stable patient, no human-to-human risk. 2 hantavirus stories in one day, both individually manageable, but together they're a signal. World Health Organization says risk is low and there's no evidence of casual transmission. Do you trust the institutions to get this right, or does low-risk monitoring the situation hit different now than it did 5 years ago? So the trust issue is real. Now the concern moves stateside with reports of at least 3 U.S. states under monitoring for possible exposure. According to the general, 3 U.S. states are under monitoring for hantavirus. So it's not just overseas. U.S. states are reportedly being monitored as well. Mario Nafal returns, maps out the contact tracing mess from St. Helena, departures to KLM scare, and a dockside fight in Spain. So this is the progress. 40 passengers disembarked at St. Helena before anyone knew, flew home. A Swiss passenger went home, developed symptoms, now isolated in Zurich. An infected Dutch passenger briefly boarded a KLM flight from Johannesburg before being pulled off. The Canary Islands president refused to let the ship dock. Spain's central government overruled him, and the ship is coming anyway. That dispute should feel very familiar. So the tracing nightmare is exactly what has people asking who was ready for this and when. And then we have this. You'll never guess who's been working on an mRNA hantavirus vaccine. Moderna and Korea University. That's the headline from the Korea Biomedical Review. Here we go again, guys. So this is the aha moment. See, it's not COVID, and this is exactly why Americans should reject any attempt to use COVID-style control measures. It doesn't spread the same way. It's not an airborne repeat of 2020, and even World Health Organization messaging admits public risk is low. Casual transmission evidence is lacking. So when global officials still pivot immediately to surveillance and solidarity messaging, contact tracing expansion, mask pressure, and vaccine chatter, people see the machine turning back on. The establishment doesn't need the exact same virus to revive the exact same political tools. Under President Trump, America has a chance to do what the previous administration failed to do: protect public health without surrendering liberty, sovereignty, and common sense to unelected international bureaucrats. So here's the bottom line, folks. Stay alert, stay informed, and refuse to be stampeded. The virus may be real, but so is the pattern. A cruise outbreak becomes global headlines become pressure, and pressure becomes demands for more surveillance and more obedience. That's why this matters. Americans are much wiser now and tougher, and far less willing to hand the keys back to the same class of experts who wrecked trust the first time. President Trump's America First approach means protecting this country without kneeling to the World Health Organization panic politics. So I want to hear from you. If they try masks, tracing, or lockdown language again, will you say yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Share this report everywhere. Subscribe if you haven't. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. And for direct alerts that bypass big tech suppression, text raw feed to the number on the screen, 844-840-4963, so you can hear from me directly on your phone. I'll send you a text message when it matters most. Stay strong, stay free, and keep your eyes open.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.